Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you had a wonderful evening last night. Today is the last day, and I have had a really informative, educating experience, and I hope you have a lot that you're going to take back as well. I must thank you. It's been a very, very informative experience for me. I hope you've enjoyed the last 2 days. Today is the last one. We've got very exciting sessions in for you today, and it gives me great pleasure to introduce our first speaker of the day, who will share his views on global ethos, managing unpredictability across circumstances of life and business. He's the founder and chairman of Prasanna Trust and author of over 80 books. He's not only one of the most respected spiritual leaders of the country, but is also nicknamed Corporate Guru. Not only is he sought for his wisdom by corporates all over the world, but is also a sports psychology coach for cricket teams like Delhi Daredevils. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together and welcome on stage Swami Sukhabodhananda.
Thank you. Good morning. Good morning. Namaste. I'm extremely happy to share a few words with you all. It seems a poet said, some of us think, many of us think we think, and most of us never think of thinking. Though man a thinking being is defined, how few use this grand prerogative of the mind, how few justly think of the thinking few, how many never think but think they do. I think the global ethos is we have to question our thinking process, because according to the World Health Organization, the second greatest killer for 2020 is going to be depression. And if we don't question our paradigms, question our thinking, then you find our kind of ethos is going to create chaos in us. And when it creates chaos in us, few years back, maybe about 20 years or 15 years back, the highest rate of suicide among professionals was among psychiatrists. Can you imagine that? Highest rate, and I've addressed that group in Los Angeles when I was there. It seems a beautiful looking girl, gorgeous, beautiful looking girl, about 17, 18 years, in depression, goes to a psychiatrist and says, "Doctor, I have a lot of tension, a lot of chaos in me," comes there and sits in front of her. Right? The psychiatrist gets up, hugs her, kisses her, and sits down. And she said, "Why did you do that?" And he said, "I released my tension." Now, what is your tension? Such a beautiful girl in front of me, my tension badh gaya abhi. Friends, if we don't address this global chaos born out of a global ethos, which has its root in a mythos, then we'll find we live in a disorder. And we'll have all unique ways of releasing our inner chaos. Unique ways, using multiple modes of pleasure, using multiple modes of entertainment, which pleasure and entertainment has its role, but not understanding it clearly, the way we use entertainment, the way we use pleasure cannot truly be productive. It's like a person going through a lot of tension working in the office, and he wants to release his tension, so he keeps his wife's photograph on the wall and takes, darts to release his tension and throws at the wife's photograph. And even there, he's missing the target. At office, he's missing the target. Here is also missing the target, and his tension badh gaya abhi. Now, wife's phone call comes, and he picks up, and the wife says, "Sweetheart, what are you doing?" And he says, "I'm missing you." Now, the statement appears to be true, but still it is deceptive. The statement appears to be true, and still it is deceptive. Our forms of entertainment and pleasure appears to be releasing, but it's very, very deceptive. We need to address this, because with that energy is what we have to address uncertainty. So I'm building up that, given the 45 minutes given to me. If we don't do this, as this poet says, we are fooling ourselves. All right? We fool ourselves in multiple plays of enjoyment, but it's going to add chaos. Like a person, wife goes and meets the husband, who's a computer engineer, right? And the husband's intention goes, meets the wife, a computer engineer, and the wife was shocked and zapped to see the husband with the photograph of his wife in the computer office, being a computer engineer, and appreciating a wife and using all words of praise to the wife. The wife comes and she's shocked in the office, and he says, "Sweetheart, darling, lollipop, I never knew you love me so much. How is that at home you don't appreciate me? In the office you take my photograph and you go on appreciating." And to which he says, the computer engineer says, right, "Whenever I'm in tension, whenever I'm in chaos, I take your photograph. Whenever I lay off tension, I take your photograph." All right? And I go on doing, because why I do that? Because compared to you, all other tensions are nothing. Compared to you, all other tensions are nothing, he says. Now, what I'm trying to say, friends, we have our own unique methods of fooling us. And if you go on fooling, our perception that we are healing can appear to be right, but our perception can still be deceptive. That's why in India, philosophy is called as Darshan Shastra. Darshan means seeing. And Buddha's famous statement in one sentence is Iho Pasiko. Iho means come. Pasiko means I will teach you how to see. Please understand, Buddha's famous statement, come, I will teach you how to see. And therefore philosophy in Sanskrit means darshan, seeing. You need to see uncertainty wisely. You need to see unpredictably wisely. You need to see difficulty wisely, because if you don't see, the seeing can be distortive, even though it appears you're seeing. Like a person in Andhra going through all this Rayalaseema Galata, so he goes all the way to Benares for his holiday. I just now came from Benares. He goes to Benares for a holiday with his wife there, and then the wife tells the husband, "Reddy garu, Reddy garu." Husband's name is Mr. Reddy, Reddy, empty your pocket, empty your pocket. And the husband says, "Why? Why?" And then wife says, "Look there on the shop. Cotton sarees 5 rupees. Nylon sarees 7 rupees. Silk sarees 10 rupees. My God, in Andhra, it is 10, 1,000, 2,000. It is only 10 rupees. Empty your pocket. Let us buy as much as possible." And the husband says, "Sundari ka maa, ye istri ka dukaan hai." It's a laundry shop. Now friends, the perception is right. The wife perceived it rightly. What is right? Silk sarees 10 rupees. The perception is right, but still the context was wrong, and therefore the perception was deceptive. Isn't it, friends? So to question our perception is to enhance the way or classical way of to live life. If you closely see, friends, there is chaos globally. Chaos, there is globally chaos. All right? And if you dig into the chaos, you will see there is pathos. If you dig into the chaos, you see there is pathos. And if you dig into the pathos, you find the cause for pathos is ethos. Ethos means the cultural upbringing that we are. And if you dig into the ethos, you find there is mythos. So chaos, pathos, ethos, mythos. Superficially, there is chaos. Deep, there is pathos. And there is ethos. Each one has an ethos, an ethnic upbringing. I can't forget my first trip abroad about 25 years back to Australia. I come from a very orthodox background, being a monk. And when I went to Australia in a place called Blue Mountains, I was taking my workshop. At the end of the workshop, my hostess, she was so happy with my workshop, it helped her very much. She ended the workshop, she hugged me and kissed me on my cheeks. That's my first kiss. Don't ask me which is the second. Right? Now I felt very uncomfortable 30 years back. Now I'm very comfortable. I felt very uncomfortable. I felt very, very uncomfortable. And then please see, right, so uncomfortable because I'm so used to people touching my feet. She decided why go low, she went high. Why dirty pastures, she went to cleaner pastures. Now I went afterwards from Blue Mountains to Sydney and I shared to my German couple. I felt very uncomfortable. She kissed me. I'm used to people touching my feet. And he told me, Swamiji, why should you feel uncomfortable? She's so good looking. I got another shock. So what disturbed me is my ethos. Not she kissing me was a disturbance. My ethnic background in India, you touch a person's feet. But in the West, you hug each other and kiss each other. So the kiss was not disturbing. The ethos in which I received the kiss was disturbing. And therefore, the chaos that we go through so often is the ethos that we come for and which gives us pathos. And deeply, if you look into our ethos, whatever be it Christian, Hindu, Pakistani, India, there's a certain ethos we come from. And these ethos is creating us chaos. And that distorts our cognition of what is. Because we are more caught up in the recognition of what is rather than the cognition of what is. Recognition is validating what you see to what you know. Cognition is seeing what is as is and not caught up in what you know and wants things to fall into what you know. And therefore, friends, please see the kind of chaos we go through is we need to question our perception. Now, please, for example, now the topic given to me is uncertainty and the global challenge that we are facing and the unpredictability. Please see this. The brain from a spiritual paradigm, not from a religious paradigm, the brain for centuries has gone through an error. Please listen carefully, friends. Our brain for centuries have gone through an error. And unless we correct this error, our consciousness will be distorted. The brain through centuries has committed this error, and we need to question this error. And the error is the brain has used the vehicle called time. Please listen very carefully. Simple if you listen. The brain has used the vehicle called time. Right. Time is what? Past, present, and future. Simple, isn't it, friends? Time is past, present, and future. The brain has used a vehicle called time. Right? Past, present, and future. And if you see, every one of us are future-oriented. And development, you have to be future-oriented. But there's some error which has happened. And therefore, you ask everybody, I reach this target, I'm going to become happy. I reach this, I'm going to become happy. India reaches this, we are going to become happy. I get married, I'm going to become happy. I get divorced, I'm going to become happy. Neighbor divorces, I'll become happy. Because options open up. So if you closely see the brain using time, right, always wants to become. Isn't it, friends? Yes or no? Yes or no? So, right, it's going to become. I'm not saying nothing wrong, but just see some error has happened there. When you want to become happy, become. So, where is the brain using time? In the future. Yes or no? Yes or no? Is the future. I want to become in the future. In the future. When you say, I want to go to become happy in the future when I reach the target, silently I'm telling myself what? At present, I am unhappy. By becoming happy in the future, being a CEO, being this, I'm going to become happy means silently I am punching in, I am unhappy now. I'm punching in, I'm unhappy now. Yes or no? When I punch in, I'm unhappy now. Right? The punched in person, for example, just keep this apart. For example, I am punched in, I am Swami Sukhabodhananda. Right? You have punched in, you are Mr. Das. Now tell me, each one has punched in your name, you are that. Tell me honestly, are you the name? I am Swami Sukhabodhananda. Where is Swami Sukhabodhananda here? If I take my blood sample and give it, there is no Swami Sukhabodhananda. Alright, I go and give it, my bone specialist, my bone, no. So whatever name you have punched him, please give it to any lab, you will find your name is not there. Yes or no? Tell me yes or no. Simple, no? I hope we are meeting. Alright? The name which we say we are not. I say I'm a Hindu, I'm a Christian, I'm a Muslim. It is only a punching in. But I am not that punching in. Because if I check in up, but I punched in. In the same way, please listen carefully, in the same way, I want to become happy by reaching this goal, I say, that means silently I am punching in, I am not happy. I am not happy, so this punched person is me. And when I reach my goal, when I reach my target in the future, what happens? What happens? The unhappy person reaches the target. So the brain then says, I am unhappy, reach the target. So the brain automatically will pop in another desire and says, by having 20 factories, I'm going to become happy.